Al Jazeera Podcasts.
I'm Nida Ibrahim, and this is The Take. As Israel's war on Gaza continues, we're coming to you on Sundays with a weekly roundup. This week, 109 days into a ceasefire, Israel has killed at least 646 Palestinians in Gaza. The US announced Phase 2 of the Gaza ceasefire deal. Israeli forces kill a young boy in the occupied West Bank. Today is Sunday, January 18. Israel has killed at least 71,548 Palestinians in Gaza since October 7th, 2023. On Wednesday, the United States announced the start of Phase 2 of the Gaza ceasefire agreement that was announced in October. Phase 2 focuses on disarmament and reconstruction. Osama bin Javid reports on how the Israeli army continues to violate the agreement.
Palestinians say Phase 1 meant continued killings, home demolitions, blocked aid groups, shortages of shelter, and more occupation. Now, Phase 2 is announced, shifting from ceasefire to demilitarization. Phase 2 proposes a technocratic Palestinian body to run Gaza and promises reconstruction. But as Israel's genocide continues, rebuilding hospitals, schools, and utilities will cost billions. The funding remains unclear. Israel's demand for Hamas's disarmament takes center stage. Hamas rejects full demilitarization without a broader political settlement, including statehood.
Israeli forces killed a 14-year-old boy in a village near Ramallah on Friday. Israeli soldiers and settlers stormed the village of Al-Mghayr in the occupied West Bank after Friday prayers. At least 230 children were killed in the occupied West Bank since October 7, 2023. Al Jazeera's Michael Appel has more.
Mohammed Nassan was shot in the heart. The Israeli military says, quote, one terrorist was identified running towards soldiers holding a rock, posing an imminent threat. It's left a family inconsolable and shattered a community under siege. The valleys here are fertile. Its population of several thousand Palestinians consider themselves as much part of this land as the olive trees that blanket its hills. It's been a target of almost daily Israeli settler attacks that have increased in frequency and intensity in recent years.
At least 10 Palestinians were killed in Israeli attacks on Gaza on Friday. 2 of the homes that were attacked in the strike were in western Deir al-Balah, an area that was designated as a safe zone under the ceasefire agreement. Al Jazeera's Tareq Abu Azzoum reports from Gaza City.
There was no credible justification on the ground exactly for what happened. Israel often frames these attacks as responses to threats against its forces, but in this case there were no attacks actually reported against Israeli soldiers near their deployment lines over the past 24 hours. What we saw were airstrikes on residential homes, including residential buildings in central Gaza, where 3 houses have been squarely targeted without any prior warning. And it's essential to highlight that these attacks also come as a result of an Israeli clear pattern of military pressure rather than being a major defensive response.
Israeli authorities are discussing plans to advance illegal Israeli settlements in occupied East Jerusalem. The site where the new building is proposed used to be an airport. The Jerusalem International Airport connected Palestinians to the outside world before Israel occupied the Palestinian territory in 1967. Here's my report from the occupied West Bank.
This area will be a construction site for 9,000 units, not for Palestinians, but for Israeli settlers. Authorities are planning to establish a new illegal Israeli settlement reserved solely for tens of thousands of settlers. And the Palestinians living here fear they may lose their homes. East Jerusalem is the capital of the Palestinian state, and Palestinians say these planned developments are far from random. The settlement project still needs final approval, so it could be months before construction begins, but the signal from Israel is clear: preventing Palestinian territorial integrity and using illegal Israeli settlements to to bury the dream of a Palestinian state.
And that's the take for Sunday, January 12. Please join us again tomorrow. I'm Nida Ibrahim. This episode was produced by Marthe van der Wolf. Alexandra Locke is the Take's executive producer, and Ney Alvarez is Al Jazeera's head of audio.